What's up, guys? Today I am going to show you how to make a 26650 adapter sleeve to accommodate that 18650 battery cell. If you have a flashlight that you may have got off Amazon, or if you have just a flashlight that takes the 26650s, as we all know, the supply for batteries and everything is crazy these days, and this battery pack is a 26650 10,000 supposedly milliamps. So why would you want to make a sleeve to convert from this bigger cell down to this one? Well, there's two reasons. One, you can't get the 26650s just everywhere. They're, out. The EBL cells, yeah, you can get them. They're not as high drain as some of the other cells. And eBay, I don't recommend buying any batteries. In fact, I don't recommend buying anything from them. So with all of that said and done and out of the way, I ordered a set of sleeves from Amazon, and unfortunately they came in and they were 61.2 millimeters in length. So if you know anything about cells, and if you don't, you're going to learn now. The 26 stands for 26 millimeters in diameter. The 18650 stands for 18 millimeter in diameter. If you notice, the 650 and 650 are the same on both. The only two numbers after that are 65 and 65. That gives the length of the battery. This battery pack happens to be spot welded together, ran in series, and heat shrunk together. This battery here, which has a protected circuit, makes it 1/8 inch longer than 65 millimeters. So when you're ordering batteries, it's important to know that. And with that said, we can kind of get on to my blueprint that I have here. So Amazon sleeves came in. They're 61.2 in length. Well, we already are under, and I didn't think it was going to matter. And for the most part, all you're going to do is hear rattle, back and forth, like when you take the flashlight and do that. And they were thin enough. Now, plastic is an insulator, so it's not a heat sink like the aluminum will act as a heat sink. This is going to act as an insulator, and so will the sleeves from Amazon. And the Chinese do sell the sleeves. And there's other companies that sell a heavier sleeve, like what I'm going to show you how to make. So basically what this adapter sleeve does, it accommodates the OD, the outside diameter, and then the ID, the inside diameter of this pipe, will allow this battery to slip in and not move around. And you can see these are the same, at least in diameter. And you'll see here in a minute. This one is, the adapter sleeve is a little longer, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is if you take a shorter sleeve, which I did, and I did 65 millimeters plus 65 millimeters instead of making the single cell. And this will apply if you have a single cell flashlight that's a 26650. You would just split that. And I'm going to show you a very simple, easy, and quick way of doing so. So this one's too short, and I'll show you right here. So if we slip this in, you can see that's about 3/8 of an inch shallow. So this is going to ride up and down inside. And then you got your 18650 battery that goes down. And unfortunately, I only have one of them right now. So you'll see the other one will stack on top. And then we have the butt cap that will screw down. And then your contact point is going to go from negative, and then the button part will go to positive. So let's get this out of here. let's take a look inside the flashlight. You see another spring in there, okay? So what I did, being disgusted and not wanting to order from Amazon again, I decided to go to Home Depot. Took the 18650 cell with me along with the flashlight, and I found this PVC, and somewhere on here, let me turn it around, it is 3/4 of an inch by 2 foot. This was $3.89. I will insert a couple of pictures at the end of this video so you know what you're looking for. What to do is take your 18650 cell along with you. Take your flashlight, no matter if it's double stack or single stack, and simply put the tubing inside and see if it fits. It does. So this mic'd out to it was 1 inch and 53 thousandths, and it mic'd out very close to what this 26650 cell is on OD, outside diameter. The inside diameter mic'd out to 760 thousandths. So if we look down here at my blueprint, you got the ID, the inside diameter of this PVC, at 765 or 60 thousandths. That is 10 thousandths greater than 750 thousandths, which is 3/4 of an inch. So that's how they come up with the 3/4 of an inch. The pipe is measured on the inside diameter, not the outside. And if we look over here, we can see I wrote 18650, and then the dotted lines represent where the cell will go in to that sleeve. And then I simply put 760 there, and this mic'd out to, like, I think it was 750, 748, something like that. It's not really a big deal because a 32nd of an inch is not very much. So when you put this in here, and make sure, because this is extruded, take your battery and just kind of see how much space is in each one. I did that, and I found this one to fit my battery the best. So you might have more heat shrink because people tend to, rewrap these. With that said, what I did was I took the whole 2 foot of pipe and put it inside the flashlight. I then took a marker and I marked right at the edge, right around this metal piece that there was, and I'll do it again because I'm going to make a second one because I have another light. Okay, so all I did was I just turned the pipe and moved the marker around. Now you can see I have a nice mark there. Now what we're going to have to do, and if you don't have a lathe, you can use a Dremel if you got a steady hand, or a cutoff saw, or an oscillating tool. I'm just trying to, spit ideas at you. And then you want to get it as square as possible. So even a miter box with a hacksaw, you want to do that. And then you're going to want to, clean it up. So if we look over here at my blueprint, the OD, we got 1.50 thousandths of an inch, and I just marked that at 1 inch 3/64 of an inch because that is 48 thousandths of an inch. So 2 thousandths isn't going to really matter. And if I take the one that I'm done, I already done it, put it in, you can see that fits perfectly flat. So now, that's sitting on the bottom, and then the cap, it's going to screw down, and when it does, it's going to touch that inside, and it's not going to flop up and down, and then your battery cell will fall in, your other one will fall in, your cap will go on, it will make contact. because if we take all of this apart and we put this cell in, you can see that's right there, and then the battery butt cap, or the butt cap, goes on top of the battery, and you got to squeeze that down. Now, just to show you, this is the finished one. This fits right over that, and hopefully you're getting a shot down there, so it's not interfering. And the other thing I did, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's a chamfer here, and I left just ever so slightly a lip, 1/16 of an inch. From here in is 1/16 of an inch flat. The rest, if we looked at it, would be on a 45-degree chamfer like that. So if you had a single one, you would make one of these, but it would be half that length. And the length that I came up with, well, you saw the way I did it. I inserted the pipe over here, and then we got the black line, and we're gonna have to cut that, make it nice. And you could see right here, if I match this up, this side I have to face yet. This side is going to be cut, and then we're going to be equal. And make sure when you're using a hacksaw or whatever you're using, give yourself at least an 1/8 inch extra so you can, you know, clean that up. Even a 1/16. But again, if you're cutting with a hacksaw, you know, your tendency to go straight through it, you're going to be like that. And it's fairly important, because if you get it off, it's not going to sit flat in the flashlight and the butt cap, and you're going to get slop, and it might be too high. But anyway, that is the basic principle of that. Let's go ahead, get set up, and make another one. All right, so my lathe, the chuck doesn't allow the stock to go all the way through it. And it's not good to have that much overhang, but there's not much I'm going to be able to do to it. So what we're going to aim for is we're going to start our line right there. You can kind of see how far away I am. And after that, all we're going to do is just go ahead and turn the lathe on, and we're going to let the saw cut right through that. That's going to cut the other piece off. Then we're going to use our cutting tool, turning tool, and we're going to go ahead and face that, countersink it. Then we're going to turn it end for end, and then we're going to cut it to size, face it to size. Okay, so you see I already faced it down. Now what you don't want to do is touch that black line, because you're already at spec. You'll face this. I'm going to take one clean cut, nice and smooth there. I'm going to do that cleanup cut. Now you still see I got about a 1/16 of an inch. So when I turn this around, I'm going to be able to face that side. But before I do that, I want to turn my cutting tool to a 45, and then we're going to set the crossfeed in. We're going to bring the carriage, and then we're going to bring the crossfeed back out, and you can see how that's chamfering that. And you got to watch. It's kind of hard to do with one hand here. And we're gonna, this is where it's gonna give you that 1/16 of an inch, and I'll show you in a minute. Kind of hard to watch the camera and do this shit at the same time. So there you go, there it's cutting down there, boom. Now if you could see that, let me stop it. From this edge here over, it's flat. And then we got that chamfer there. What that chamfer is good for is so, you know, if the spring is round and it's touching it, it's going to be recessed. Plus the battery could come down and, you know, well, the spring is going to be touching the battery, so more or less just for the spring distance. So I could go a little bit more on that, but it looks good to me. All I'm going to do is turn the lathe back on, and we're going to take a file. We're going to deburr that. It's important to deburr or your cell ain't going to fit. And then the same thing on the outside. You want to clean that shit off there, make it round. Now I got some wet sandpaper, and I'm just going to go in there and smooth all of this out. And I'm also going to remove the burr on the outside and remove that black line. And you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so that's this finished side. Now what we're going to do is take it out of the chuck. Alright, so we got it out of the chuck. We're back over at the flashlight. Now here's the rough side. Now here's the trick. You're going to drop the finished side in. Now you could see how much you got there, okay? Now we're going to take the marker and we're going to remark that whole thing again. So after you got that remarked, now we have a nice black line. And we're going to put it over back in the chuck. Alright, so we're back in the chuck. That's the finished side. Now we got that. We reset our tool rest. Brought the cross feed back. We're going to turn the lathe on. And we're just going to turn the carriage in. And again, you know, with this much overhang, you want to be careful. You want to come in and touch it, because it can pop out and give you a whack right in the melon. Right in the snoot. Won't be a fun day, you know. Especially if you had bar stock, you know. That's where a bigger lathe comes in handy. Just think of making, you know, one of these things and filling it with lead shot. Boy, that would make a good club. Put some PVC glue on there, put some end caps on there. You got a nice baton. Plastic with lead shot on the inside. So, alright, you got the feel of that, right? All we're going to do is clean that up till you don't see no more black. We know we're at the right length. So you can see that black line just disappear. And we're going to go one more time. Just a little bit. And I'm going to call that good. And then we're just going to repeat the process and finish that up. And then you got another sleeve. Okay, so there you go. You got the two of them. And both of them will fit nicely. See that? That's one. And that is number two. And now we'll go ahead and screw the butt cap on, but I gotta cut. So there it is with the butt cap on. Now we'll shake it. Nothing. So you just know I'm not bullshitting you. Here's the cell. I'll put that in. That's the only one I got. And we'll put the butt cap back on, cut back. Okay, so we got the battery in there, and I'll let you hear. You'll be able to hear the spring. And with the other battery in there, boom, you know, you're done. You got nice sleeve, and that's all there is to it. Okay, one other tip I do want to give you. You're going to see, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's PVC shit in there. So take a can of compressed air or air compressor and blow that shit out of there.